Hey, I'm Joe, and this is Victoria, and we're here today to talk about bipartite graphs.
A bipartite graph is a graph or group of vertices that can be split into two separate groups in such a way that each edge touches one point for both groups. These graphs are also called bigraphs for short.
Basically, the two sets can be thought of as two different colors. Each point on the graph is assigned to one of the two sets, and for example, in this picture, all of the points that are red cannot touch any other points that are red, and they only can touch points that are blue. Each connection is represented by an edge.
Defining two sets in a bipartite graph is a simple process. Select a vertex at random and define it as a member of set A.
So for example, this first point would be the red point.
The rest of the vertices are defined by their distance from the first vertex chosen.
So these two vertices, for example, are blue. They're both distance 1 away from this first vertex, which is the root vertex. The rest of them would be defined in the same way. These three red ones are all distance 2 away from the first point, and so on. Any sort of tree is always a bipartite. It's very plain that if you have a tree, the first row will be of the first set, the second row will be of the second set, and the third row will be of the first set again, and it will alternate as you go down the tree.
If a graph contains a loop, otherwise known as a cycle, it cannot have an odd number of vertices, like you can see right here. If there is a closed loop with an odd number of vertices, it is immediately apparent that if one vertex is in set A and one vertex is in set B, then the third vertex cannot be in either set because it is touching both vertex from A and B.
This is fairly obvious. You can see this triangle is not colored blue or red because you can't assign all three to a set. For example, if you would say this corner is blue and this corner is red, then this third corner is touching both blue and red, so it cannot be bipartite.
A complete bipartite graph is a type of bipartite graph, and to be qualified as complete, a graph must be created in such a way that for any two vertices, where vertex 1 is in set A and vertex 2 is in set B, that vertices 1 and 2 are connected by an edge. In other words, for every point there is an edge connecting it to all the points of the opposite set.
So in this example, this point right here, which is red, is connected to all blue points, and all blue points are connected to all red points.
Any tree graph that is a complete bipartite graph is known as a star graph. This is because there will be only one member of a set A connected to n members of set B, forming a star-shaped pattern.
This is demonstrated right here. You'll have the red, which could be defined as set A. It's touching all of the blue, and all of the blue are touching all of the red. They always end up looking like a star like this, since there can only be one point of the first set.
Bipartite graphs can either be open or closed, meaning they can potentially contain loops, as long as the loops are of an odd number of points, or are of an even number of points.
Yeah, as we talked about earlier, if it's odd, it wouldn't be bipartite, but as long as they're even, like this diamond here, it can be bipartite. Also, it could be either closed or open, or both. It could have a closed section and an open section off to the side.
Bipartite graphs are extremely useful in defining a two-set group. A strong example would be a job matching problem. If there are X candidates for Y jobs, and only some of the candidates are suited for certain jobs, this scenario can be portrayed using a bipartite graph. All the people would be members of one set, while all the jobs would be members of another set. For obvious reasons, people cannot be matched with other people, and jobs cannot be matched with other jobs.
This also could apply to a dating site scenario, where you would have males matched with females and females matched with males, because unless you're into the gay persuasion, you would not want to be matched with someone of the same gender. And that's it.